The second trial is in Ostend. It's around the transfer station and includes mangroves, industrial areas, businesses, wetlands, storages, containers. It's a rat's dream and a manager's nightmare. Everything that is complicated and complex and high risk for management is concentrated in a very small area. It's good for our trial, but yeah, again, it's a manager's nightmare. Rats have plenty of habitat to hide, to walk around. Maybe they don't need to walk far to get enough food. When you think about a rat spending a whole night around 2 or 3 cars on a scrapyard, there's so many holes and gaps that it can check. It doesn't have to walk far. So is it enough to put a bait station every 25 meters? That's a question. So the trial will happen like the following. Within the orange line and within the blue line, the whole area will be treated with bait stations and rodent blocks. And once, hopefully after 6 to 8 weeks, there will be no more rats in the area, especially in the core area. At the outside boundaries, rats will move in, but in the core area, we want to get 0 rats. So once we have achieved 0 rats, we stop baiting in the core area within the blue line. The baiting outside within the orange will be further conducted, but within the blue line, we stop baiting and start trapping. Same device density. Every 25 meters, there will be a trap. And to do that, why we do that is we want to see if the rats may avoid bait stations, go into traps, or if we trap rats, have they consumed bait? That's an important question. Every single rat that we catch has to have consumed bait. If everything's working perfectly, we will not catch a single rat. That's a good sign. But that still doesn't mean that there is no rat. So the third stage of the trial will be intense monitoring. Again, we will use chew cards and wax blocks and cameras to see if there are still rats running around that just don't eat bait and don't go into traps. And then we would have identified a problem. The questions that we answer in this trial are, do all rats in this really complex high-risk site consume lethal amounts of bait? We just have to confirm that. That's the most important. Again, the same as on Kennedy Point, we will compare detection devices. And the last part is we include mangroves into the core area. There are a lot of mangroves on Waiheke. It's a very important habitat. And it's known that rats may not live in mangroves, but they forage in mangroves. So they go and find food. And we want to know, how do we monitor them? We cannot put a trekking tunnel into the mangroves, right? It would just be washed away by the tide. And the same as a bait station. We cannot just put a bait station into the area. So which tool actually works in the mangrove area? And to do that, I want to show that device that Phil Salisbury from Te Korowaio Waiheke has built, which is fantastic. It was already tested on a small trial. And as you can see, we have a floating bait station. It's on a raft. During low tide on the right side, you see it's sitting nice and flat and sturdy on the ground. And during high tide, it floats on the water. So we make sure that no bait gets into the water. The rats have entered these stations. We have videos of that. We have signs of rats in the stations. And there was no water in the bait station, which is also very important, that the bait station does not get flooded. So we want to test this device on a somewhat larger scale.